Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 213. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps to stop overeating and overdrinking now. Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. How are you today? Every podcast that I do, I keep telling you spring is here, spring is close, spring is here. My woods are fully developed. The leaves are huge. They're adult leaves now. It is so much fun to watch them go from little buds and they get a little bit bigger every day. It takes weeks when you watch it. And the miracle of nature never ever stops amazing me. And it's also something that I can always depend on, nature. You know, with all this crazy stuff that's going on right now, nature's just doing its thing with no help from me or from you or from the government, from anybody. It's just doing its thing like it always does. Spring is here like it always does. It always comes around this time. It always kind of does its thing. And it is amazing. And it also is very comforting. And I hope it's a comfort to you too, no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing, that if you just look outside. And I think even something even more interesting than just look outside, just look up. You know, sometimes I think we are so much in our heads that we just forget that there's a world outside. And sometimes, like for me, when I'm out walking and I'm in nature, sometimes I will be in my head thinking about what I want to talk to you about. That happens to me a lot. But what I'll do, because I'm managing my mind, is I'll just say to myself, look up. And it brings me back to the present moment every single time. Just look up. And when I look up, you know what I see? I see the clouds, I see the sky, I see the leaves, I see the birds. It brings me back. Feel free to use that if it will help you come back. There's nothing better than being able to be present to your life. And being present in your life means being wherever you are in the moment that you are in it. So for now, as you're listening to me, you may be going off into the future, your mind, or your mind may be going off back into the past, which is your mind, or you come back to my voice. Hello. How was your trip? You're back and you're listening to me. And now, as you listen to my voice, if you're driving, don't look up. But have a look. Look around. Where are you? Have you ever been driving and all of a sudden you get someplace and you don't even know how you got there? That's called not being present. You're driving a car. You're doing it all right, but you are not there. Come back. Come back to me. Come back to my voice. Look up. Look out. What's going on? And now you're back to the present moment. Okay. So what I want to talk to you about today is about 3 simple steps that you can use right now to stop overeating and overdrinking. So for those of you who are listening to me who are not doing that, bravo. You've been listening to me long enough, you know. Or maybe you have been listening to me for a long time and you're still doing it. This podcast is for all of you who are going through this strange time and noticing that you're not being present to yourself, or noticing that you're using food and alcohol not to have to feel what you're feeling. And I really do think that this time right now is perfect for helping you learn how to be into the present moment. And there's no better way to check into the present moment than when you sit down to eat. It is the best check-in. Have you ever eaten something and not even known what you ate? Just like I was saying, have you ever driven and gotten someplace and never know how you got there? Like, oh my gosh, where have I been? Eating can be the same way, but it's also a beautiful time to bring yourself back. And of course, since we do tend to eat, or at least we have to eat throughout the day in order to fuel our bodies really can't live without some kind of fuel, we get to check in. So during this time, I want to give you a few simple steps that you can use. When you stop listening to this podcast, you can start right now, because here's what I want to offer you. It's simple and you can use it right now. You can come back into the present moment right now, and you can use food as an anchor for doing it. And you can use your physical hunger scale and your emotional hunger scale for checking in. So you sit down, you're getting ready to put food in your mouth, and you ask yourself very simply, how hungry am I? You look at my physical hunger scale. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, or if you're just coming for the first time, you can always order my podcast companion book by going to drdebbutler.com/change. You can get this book that has the physical hunger scale and the emotional hunger scale in it. And what I'm talking about right now is that when you want to sit down to eat, you want to be around a -2. And a -2 is a whisper of hunger that says it's time to feed me. And you go ahead and you fill up your stomach or your gas tank, and you bring it up to a +2, which is a satisfaction, and it's a whisper of fullness. And it's the beginning of being present and checking in. So the first step is simply, when you sit down to eat, where are you? Where is your physical hunger scale? It's the easiest and best way to bring yourself back. The second step that I'm going to be talking about is making a decision now. Right now, as you're listening to me, that now is your best time to learn how to connect to your body. Not tomorrow, not when this pandemic is over, not when the kids are gone. And I know some of you, your kids have been gone for a while and they're back. It's like, okay. No, what I'm talking about is make a decision now that now is the best time to learn how to connect to your body. How to eat meals, how to make them fuel, how to start at a -2 and stop at a +2. Making a decision now that that is what you're going to do from here on out. Another step that I want to give you is knowing that there are very specific things that you can do for self-care that will be active de-stressing. And I'm going to go over those with you today, is how to actively distress. And I'm going to give you a hint about that. Active de-stressing is not zoning out on your phone. It's not complaining, and it's not overeating or over drinking. And I'm going to go over that with you also about what you can do to actively de-stress. So the 3 simple steps that I just mentioned are, number 1, to be able to sit down to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, to be able to check in with yourself. And maybe it's like, where am I? What am I eating? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? You know, in Buddhism, they do this mindfulness test almost with tea, that they'll drink a cup of tea for an hour and mindfully, sip by sip. And even before they have a sip by sip, they will pour the tea. They will look at the tea. They will notice the colors of the tea. And it will take an hour. And it is part of this mindfulness. So what I'm saying to you, your first simple step is when you're sitting down to eat a meal, where are you? What does your food look like? Where did it come from? You start actually honing in on the moment. And then you check in with your body. Where are you, body? How hungry are you? Are you a -2, which is just the whisper of hunger? Or are you hungrier? If you're hungrier, you might ask yourself, why? Why did you wait? And maybe you'll have an answer. And then you'll eat bite by bite. You'll notice it bite by bite. And as soon as you get to that +2, you'll stop. And you know what's going to happen sometimes? and I want you to be aware of this too, is sometimes when your physical body says stop, your mind has some options for you. Maybe your mind is going to say to you, this is so delicious, and you find yourself wanting to keep eating. That is just your mind giving you ideas. It's just your primal brain coming up with these clever ideas about it's so delicious, I'll never get it again. Whatever it has to say to you that is not in conjunction with your physical body telling you to stop, you become aware and you notice and you check in with your physical body. You note it's a +2 and you let the thoughts go and you stop. It's a simple step and it can lead to everything that you've ever wanted for your body and your mind in terms of a connection. Now has never been a better time to do that. You probably might have a little bit more time. You might have a little bit more time to sit down and eat. You might have a little bit more time to plan what you're going to put in that beautiful body of yours. It's simple. You have to do it every day. You have to do it multiple times a day. Check in. Check in with what is going on with your body and check in what your mind has to say about it. And if your mind is not aligned with your physical body that says stop, be aware of that and be aware that it is not a fact that just because it's so delicious, you could keep eating. It's just a thought that's been there forever. You can let go of it. It's not something that you have to hold on to, and it's certainly not something that you have to listen to. Now, the second thing that I talked about, the second simple step, is make that decision now. Make that decision as you're listening to me that now has never been a better time to start connecting into my body, to know what is going on with it at any given time. But use the times that you eat to check in. Where am I when I start? Where am I when I'm finished? Knowing that your goal is to start at a -2 and stop at a +2. And to notice whatever is going on in your mind when this happens. Making a decision and not backing up on that decision is one of the most beautiful things and the best gift that you can give yourself, is just to decide that this is what you're going to do now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when this is over, not when you care more, not when you're going to see more people, now. And I will tell you what, that brain of yours is very, very powerful. You make that decision, you don't go back on that decision, and you know what? You will get a result that you're very, very happy with, because we know, you know, that the results that you get are always a result of what you're thinking. And if you're thinking, I've decided now that I am going to be connected to my body at mealtime, well, guess what the result will be? You know, you've been listening for a while. And if you haven't been listening for a while, I got news for you. Your brain leads the show. So be careful. All right. And the third thing, and the most important thing, is how to actively de-stress. And active de-stressing, what it's not, what I told you, what it's not, is it's not overeating and overdrinking, even though that primal brain of yours, that little toddler in your brain is yelling, feed me, I need a glass of wine. It's been a terrible day. Please. It is not. It is an out-of-control toddler that needs some discipline. That's all it is. Active distressing is not overeating and overdrinking or complaining or zoning out on the TV or zoning out on the phone. Let me give you some ideas of what active de-stressing looks like. This is the truth about active de-stressing, is that it actually de-stresses you. And if you find that you have more stress right now, then the best thing you can do for yourself are some of these simple things that I'm going to give you. Now, one of the first things that I'm going to tell you that you probably have heard and you've known, but I'm going to tell you again, is moving your body. Some people like to call it exercise. I like to call it play. I want to see you go out and play more by moving your body. What we know from all the research that we know about the physical body and the mental mind is that stress, what the mind conjures up and creates in the body, we are wired to move when that happens. And when we move, take flight, what happens is the stress goes down. And it's a whole chemical effect that happens. That is available to you all of the time. When you're feeling that type of vibration in your body, which is what we call stress, but all it really is just negative emotion, know that one of the easiest things that you can do, that your primal brain and toddler is going, feed me, that the best thing that you can do is move me. And here's the thing. The more that you start moving and noticing how much better you feel when you move, the more your brain will help you move. Now, this is one of my points that is in my companion workbook when I talk about exercise and play. I really would love for you to go and look at that chapter again on exercise, play, and movement, because I give you some very simple steps about how to make exercise ridiculously easy. Because I will tell you what, your brain loves pleasure. If it thinks that this is a pleasurable thing for you, it will move you to move. And you really want that. Another thing that it will help you truly de-stress is having a morning routine. So one of the things that I do every morning is I give myself an hour before I ever do anything once I get out of bed. And one of the things that I do that I would love to help you do, I call it the morning pages. And the morning pages basically is something I learned from Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way many, many years ago. And one of the things that she mentioned was this morning pages. And basically what it is when you first get up in the morning, maybe after you've had a little coffee, at least that's for me, I like a little coffee, you have a piece of paper and a pen and you just start writing everything that's on your mind. You just kind of dump it. And the beauty about this is you get it all out of your head. Now, she suggests that you do 3 pages every morning. I started with smaller pages, but now I do full pages. But it can be 1 page, it can be a half a page, but you just start writing it. Now, I know I told you all about doing thought downloads too. This is a little different than a thought download, but nonetheless, you're getting a lot of thoughts on paper too. But the purpose of morning papers is more important than anything is that you get everything out of your mind so you can start the day fresh. And it's like a way of talking to somebody who really cares about you, about everything that's on your mind. And you don't have to hold back because it's just you. Get it all out. And what Julia Cameron says, it's a way of calming down the inner critic in your head. You just get it all out. And a lot of times, some of the things that you get out, and it seems like the longer you write, the more important the things that you write come. That's why it's important to write for a while. So sometimes when you're writing, you're going to find out that you don't really have anything to say. So you'll just be writing in these morning pages. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And then all of a sudden you'll know what to say again and you'll start writing again. I have had such epiphanies when I've done this, but more important than anything else, it calms my body down for the rest of the day. And it points me in a direction that is always better than when I start. So the morning pages, I find, is a beautiful way to actively de-stress. And there's so many other things that you can do in the morning too, such as do a little bit of meditation. You can do 5 minutes of meditation and change your brain. 5 minutes. There's so many beautiful apps on your phone that you can get. The one that I like to use is Insight Timer. It's a free app. It's got 1 million meditations on it. And you can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever you want. But maybe commit and give yourself that gift of a little bit of time to just let your mind be calm. Just to be able to learn how to watch it. Another thing I think that will help you actively de-stress is getting yourself out in nature. There is so much research. That's what I think is so amazing. There is so much research on what happens to the physical body and the mind when it's out in nature, that there is some kind of connection to nature and our bodies that immediately calms it down. So if you haven't been outside lately, please go outside. If you can't go far, walk out your front door. If you can go farther, depending on where you are, what state you are, what country you are, go into the woods. I am surrounded by the woods, and the woods feed me. That's pretty funny. The woods feed me. And that is really interesting about what does feed you. Overeating and overdrinking when you're not hungry is really not something that feeds you. But the idea of nature, it feeds you and it'll fill your soul and it'll calm it down. The results, you know, the difference between when you're actively de-stressing is that the results is that you actually feel calmer. You have a good result. You're not beating yourself up because you did something you didn't want. You don't feel worse. The problem with overeating and overdrinking always, the result is you feel worse. But when you're doing the things that I'm talking about, the result is you always feel better. The other thing that I want to talk about when I talk about active de-stressing is being able to manage your mind. And of course, that's what everything I teach is about. And I've got so much material on this and so many podcasts on it. But just for you to be aware that there are 5 components that make up problems. There's the circumstance that causes a thought, and a thought that causes a feeling, and the feeling that causes an action, and an action that causes a result. And your result is always evidence for your thinking. And the more that you can understand how the model works, and the more that you can manage your mind, the better you're going to feel, because guess who's in control of their feelings? You're right. It's you. And guess who's in control of their thoughts? You're right. It's you. Guess who's in control of circumstances? Not you. So circumstantially, we have a pandemic going on. You have no control over that, but you have 100% control over what you think about that, how you feel about that, what you do, and what your results are. That is all under your control. 4 out of 5 of those components are under your control. Manage them. All right, guys. I hope this has been really, really helpful for you today, that you are now going to be able to use eating as a way of checking in with yourself, that you're going to decide now that now is the time to do that, and that you now have ideas on how you can actively de-stress. Please use them and notice what a gift you give yourself. Hey, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful week, because you know who's in charge of that, don't you? And as always, no matter what else you do, please, please, please be very, very kind to yourself. And if you need any help in being kind to yourself, you know what you can do. You can have a session with me for free and find out if the work that I do will help you. All you have to do is go to drdebbutler.com/work with me, and you can set up an appointment. So please be very, very kind to yourself, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
I would like to invite you to correspond with Dr. Deborah. Go to iTunes, drdebbutler.com/iTunes. And you can review the show, and you can even give some helpful suggestions on what you would like to talk about in the future to accomplish your mindfulness and your journey into mindfulness. Thank you.